what we're going to do is we're just going to make a little techno track here. Everything is going to be MIDI from the ground up, and just so you can see how I use MIDI stuff in Ableton Live. So no audio files, at least in the beginning. We can maybe come back and put some audio files in there. I'm going to start with my drums, and since we said techno, let's put a 909 in here. And a couple of things we can do is I can turn on my record here, and we can hit that. So there it is. You can see how everything, just make sure yeah, that's pretty good levels. Cool. All right, so a couple of ways I can do this. One, I can just play everything in. I'm going to turn on my metronome here. There you go. Put on my metronome here. And I'm going to hit record now. I'm just going to make sure my record quantization is set to 16th notes, which it is. And like I said, sometimes I leave it on, sometimes I don't. This time I'm just going to leave it on. We're making some techno here. And I'm just letting it play. I've got my tempo here. Let's go ahead and crank this up to 124. And I'm just going to play in a 4 to the floor kick drum pattern. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to hit the record button when it's time to record before the downbeat. Because remember, I've got this 1 bar turned on, so it's not going to start recording until we get 1 bar. Okay, ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. So what you see that I did was I hit the play button because I'm using a trackball mouse. I can show you real quick. I'm using a trackball mouse. It looks like this. And I always use trackball mouses, or mice, I guess. I always use trackball mice. I've been using them for years and years and years. They're hard to get used to at first, but once you do, it's really nice for stuff like this because I can just leave my mouse pointer there on the screen and just hit record and hit go. So let's go ahead and record in a hi-hat line. I'm going to grab in my 808 drum kit here. I'm going to record everything on its own separate tracks because that's how I usually do it when I'm in real life. Okay, so I'm going to go over here. Cool. I'm going to rename this. Whoops. Okay, and let's duplicate this. And now this one here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and highlight all these and move them over like that. Let's do this here. I'm going to turn it down here, and I'm going to go ahead and lower the pitch on it a little bit. This is something that I do it like this sometimes, other times not really, but whatever. Cool. Let's get another hi-hat line. Let's get an open hi-hat line. Let's use a 909. Okay, so now you can hear it's just like a regular open hi-hat. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to cut the sustain. And I could do it like this, or I can go ahead and put the sustain back up and cut it like this using the actual sample and just killing the sample here, which is kind of an interesting way to do it. We're actually editing the sound file of that thing. All sorts of different ways to do this stuff. Original techno is it's a 909 and an 808, right? All right, so I got this here, boom, but since you mentioned 303, what was I playing? Oh, it's hardware. Sorry. I was thinking, what was I using yesterday? It sounded like a really good 303, but that was actually hardware. I was over at my studio. All right, so we got this here. Now let's go ahead and let's use a, you know what sound has a really good 303 emulation is the Mini Brute 2 from Arturia. Sounds really good. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to go in and use an arpeggiator with a synth that comes with Ableton Live. We're going to try to do this everything with Ableton Live right now. Ableton Live standard version, or at least as most standard I can get it. So we're going to go here to our sounds, and we're going to go to our bass sounds in here. That doesn't sound like anything, does it? Here, let's use this acid bass sound. And now what I'm going to do is in here I'm going to go ahead and grab a MIDI effect, and we're going to grab the arpeggiator and drag it in here. That sounds great, doesn't it? Right, so I'm going to hit go on this, and we're just going to play some stuff in here and just see what sounds good. Turn this off. There we go. This one's kind of cool sounding. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab that in there. And grab this here. Oh, did I start it in the wrong place? I think I started in the wrong place, so we'll just go ahead and move all this over. Cool. Now let's go ahead and throw a filter on here, so it has a little bit of a more interesting sound. Audio effects, we're going to go up to our audio effect rack, throw a filter on here. Whoops, not that. Why did I say that? Auto filter, that's what we want. Throw that on there. Now. Change the filter type in here, so it has a nice little yeah, it is becoming more old school acid. It's true. All right. I just had that 303 sound in my head, so. Got that there. Now let's go ahead and put in a little bass line. So we're going to make another little thing here. Yeah, I'm sorry, my bad. Some bass. Boop -a doop. All right, let's go ahead and drag in some kind of a sound. Let's grab another. Go to the end. I always start from the beginning, and I always end up grabbing the same bass sound because that one sound always appeals to me. Yeah, let's grab this thing. Throw it in here. What was I playing on? I was probably playing on C, right? Yeah. Here, let's turn this one off for a second. I'm just going to stop that. We're going to hit go on this. Now, one thing you can do, this actually playing like that kind of reminds me of something. One thing you can do with this, especially, well, this is a monophonic synth. Let's go ahead and make it, sorry, it's a polyphonic synth. Can we make it monophonic? Filter, global. I think we probably can make it monophonic, but I don't, oh, here we go, 12 mono, there we go. Okay. So if we just go ahead and hit some notes, actually, if you don't really know what to do, or if you're just kind of messing around, you're just kind of like just trying to get some ideas, just go in here and just like hit the keyboard a little bit. And this is sometimes what I'll do if I just literally have no ideas and I'm just like messing around and I just want to see what happens. This can be a fun thing to do. I do it less now than I used to, but when I remember when I first started off, I mean, this was years ago, I used to do this stuff all the time. It's kind of fun. So I'm going to hit go and then all right, so now it's all right, there's some stuff in here that sounds kind of interesting. Let's try that. Yeah. Now you can hear it's kind of like, let's see what happens when we put a MIDI effect on it so the note length is all the same. So it doesn't do, it's kind of doing some really weird stuff there at the end. Let's try this. Huh. Cool. I think we'll take this out. Let's get rid of that acid bass. And so we have this in here. And now let's go ahead and add like a pad sound in here as well, like a string type of sound. Go over here to our sounds and go up here to synth string, synth lead, synth rhythmic. Pads. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, a pad sound is like a synthy string type of thing. And we can listen. All right, now it sounds kind of fun. Not sure if that's how that's going to work with everything else we've been messing around with, but let's see. Cool. Okay, so what I did was I just got an idea in my head of what I wanted to play, and I just I hit play with my space bar. Right? And I just kind of got an idea, and I hit record. And I hit the play button again to make it stop. So we've got this here, we've got our bass sound here, we've got our pad sound here. Let's add some percussion sounds in here. And what I want to do is I want to show you how to overdub on top of stuff, and then we'll call it a day here. So I'm going to make another track here. This one is, what is this one? This one is my, what are you? You're my open hat. Okay, cool. You're my shaker 2. And you are going to be my percussion. And let's go grab some percussion sounds, and we're going to grab a drum kit over here where it says drums. And if you don't have all these, or if you have, maybe you have more, but make sure you download some of the packs into Ableton Live. You can do that by clicking on packs and then see whatever you want to download. You can see I've got quite a few in here. What if I go in here to drums, and let's find, we can do a search up here in the upper left hand corner. Let's just percussion core kit, drag that on here. This has some nice percussion-y sounds. If you can't hear your percussion sounds, it's because you're in the wrong octave on your keyboard. So adjust the octave on the keyboard. and I'm going to make a like a 4-bar loop or something. And I can do this. Here's another way to do this. What you can do is you can double click on an empty clip slot. Just double click it. And I'm going to go down here to the lower left-hand corner, down here where it says loop length, and I'm going to change that to 4. Oh, the dog is so cute. And now I'm going to hit play on it. Now, if I play while the light is green, it's not going to record it. But if I hit this button here, notice how everything turns red in here. So if I hit go, and I can turn it off and find a sound that I want. And I can just go through here and find more sounds. And there we go. So now we got this. I just overdubbed these sounds on top of themselves. And what I can do is I can have this one be, oops, not that. I hit Command T instead of Command R. Command R, we'll call this one loop. Here, let's call it perk loop 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make perk loop 1 without this conga mute sound. So now, yeah, cool. Nice. Yeah, it sounds cool. Now, I mean, if you're having troubles remembering how I got to this point, definitely go back and watch this video because I was using some really cool techniques and like to just kind of create things when you don't have any ideas of what to create. Awesome. We're going to go ahead and stop there because I think it's enough.